中。Good afternoon, respected judges, teachers, and fellow students. We are Group 2. I'm Floyd, and they are Aurora, Vanessa, Nora, Abby, and Summer. And today, we'd like to share with you our research on the impact of Bilingual Policy 2030 on Taiwan's higher education. This is our agenda. To start off, I will first brief everyone an introduction. Taiwan first implemented this program back in 2018 with the goal of establishing a bilingual society by 2030, focusing on enhancing English proficiency alongside Mandarin. The aim is that good English abilities will benefit Taiwan in international trade, academics, tourism, as well as prepare citizens for a global economy. The policy also places a strong focus on higher education with the intent of improving Taiwanese institutions' global status and prepare students for foreign professions. But it has been since 6 years since the implementation. Do we really see any changes yet? Are students' English level really improving? That's what we like to find out in our research. Hence, we focus on these 3 key questions. 1. Has the bilingual policy impacted Taiwan yet? 2. How are universities adapting their curricula? And 3. What are the public's perspectives?
Now, let's move on to literature review. This session will be divided into 4 parts. First, as you might know, English is now the dominant language for the international communication, driven by economy and cultural factors. However, many college students still struggle with English. School often focus on memorization instead of teaching real-life communication skills. Second, let's look at the average TOEIC score in Taiwan University. As you can see, in 2014, the score was 503, but by 2022, it increased by 58 points. Moreover, let's compare to other Asian countries. As you can see, Indonesia is the country that has made the most progress with an 86 increasing. On the other hand, China has declined by 100 points, showing the less improvement. In addition, Taiwan has only improved by 13 points, ranking second to the last. So after looking at this, do you think we've really improved? Third, let's look at the students' self-perception of their English ability. Interestingly, many students don't think very highly of their English ability. A study by Gupta and Lin in 2023 showing that less than 20% of students say their speaking and writing skill was good, with around 30% students say their skill was poor. This is related to limited opportunity for speaking and writing practice in Taiwan education, which has mainly focused on exam regular communication. Fourth, English are crucial for employment in Taiwan post-trade economy, and employees see a lack of English as a major issue, despite increasing demand and better salary for those with strong English.
Next is our methodology. Our study employs a comprehensive mixed methods approach, combining both quantitative and qualitative research methods to gather rich, detailed insights. First, regarding our participants, we've targeted a diverse sample of college students and professors from different universities across Taiwan, recruited through snowball sampling via social media platforms. Our data collection relies on 2 main instruments. First, a Google Forms questionnaire that gathers demographic information, English proficiency self-assessments, and perspectives on the bilingual policy through multiple choices, Likert scale, and open-ended questions. The second is a semi-structured interviews to gain a better understanding of participants' experiences and challenges by summarizing the interviewees' responses. For analysis, we use Excel to process numeric data and detect patterns, while qualitative replies are analyzed phonetically to collect detailed opinions. This combination approach helps us to understand both the major outcomes and the personal experiences associated with policy implementation.
Next, I will briefly introduce the background of our study. We collected data from 205 students and 90 professors, including both English and non-English majors and faculty members. Our questions focus on 2 areas. First, the participants' experience with bilingual teaching. Second, their presentation of the impact on bilingual policy 2030. By including different academic backgrounds, we aim to capture a more comprehensive view of how the bilingual policy is experienced in higher education. Based on our findings, the policy is experienced very differently among professors. Non-English professors tend to emphasize the students' English proficiency and global competitiveness, viewing the policy as a way to strengthen students' language skills and international readiness. In contrast, English professors focus on teaching method and educational equity, especially students from different backgrounds can benefit equally from bilingual instruction. As one professor said, uneven resources limit the policy success, highlighting the key challenges in the policy's implementation.
What about students? English majors were more positive. They felt full English classes boost motivation and language improvement. But for non-English majors, the story was different. Many reported stress, especially when technical terms were taught in English. For example, student Penny said in the interview, "If I have to teach math in English, I need to learn all technical terms first, just to make sure my student understands." Lucy added that teaching complex content in English without proper support could reduce learning outcome and increase anxiety. So how are universities responded? We discovered that adaptation is happening, but unevenly. English departments are refining their method. They are asked for teaching strategy workshop and help designing English materials. But for non-English departments, they are still trying to working on the basic communication skills. They need basic support like English language training and lack of instruction support in English. As Professor Betty explained, the biggest challenge is that many teachers aren't from English language background. They need basic support. They are expected to teach complex technical contents in English, and that's not easy.
Before we conclude, here are the main takeaways and our recommendations. Our study found that while the policy is widely supported, its implementation is uneven and challenging, especially across different academic departments. Professors in English faculties are generally more prepared. Non-English faculties often struggle due to limited resources or confidence. Students show a similar spirit. English majors are more confident, while non-English majors often feel anxious and overwhelmed, especially TOEFL in English. Interviews reveal that thoughtful implementation is more important than just increasing English exposure. We also found that a one-size-fits-all approach to bilingual teaching doesn't work. Technical fields, for instance, face real challenges when trying to teach complex content in English without enough training and support. Both teachers and students feel overwhelmed, and this can lower learning outcomes. So, what do we suggest?
First, we must meet student needs. Many support the policy in theory, but they need real help, like tutoring, collaborative learning, or schools should provide them with an English environment where they can have a full immersion of English. Second, we must support non-English faculty. This may include co-teaching with experienced EMI instructors, or targeted training programs where teachers can learn to be independent. And finally, at the policy level, we recommend a more flexible department-based approach. Gradual adoption, more funding, and institutional support like bilingual TAs and feedback systems are critical. The goal should be to make English a useful tool, not a source of stress. In short, the 2030 bilingual policy has potential to succeed, but success depends on its thoughtful, tailored support. If we want all students, not just English majors, to thrive, then we must meet them where they are. Thank you for your attention.